Alright guys, welcome back. This is episode number 39 of Matt Chat, covering the world's greatest massively multiplayer online role-playing game, Blizzard's World of Warcraft.
The noble humans of Stormwind are a proud, tenacious race. Though the recent invasion of the demonic Burning Legion decimated their sister kingdom of Lordaeron, the defenders of Stormwind stand vigilant against any who would threaten the sanctity of their lands. Nestled in the foothills of Elwyn Forest, Stormwind City is one of the last bastions of human power in the world. Ruled by the Child King Anduin Wrynn, the people of Stormwind remain steadfast in their commitment to the Grand Alliance. Backed by their stalwart allies, the armies of Stormwind have been called away to fight the savage horde on distant battlefields. With the armies gone, the defense of Stormwind now falls to its proud citizens. You must defend the kingdom against the foul mongrels that encroach upon it, and hunt down the subversive traitors who seek to destroy it from within. Now is the time for heroes. Now humanity's greatest chapter can be told.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume you've heard of World of Warcraft. This is probably the biggest game on the PC right now. Probably been that way for a while. Well over 12 million subscribers. I'm guessing it might be as high as 13 or 14 by now. This game is just huge, and it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. So what I want to do in this video is talk first about what came before World of Warcraft, what inspired this game, what were its predecessors, and then I want to take you into the world, and I'm going to have a special guest star, if you will, my friend Max Shelton, and we'll talk a little bit about what makes the game so fun and addictive. Okay, so first, what came before World of Warcraft? Well, let's go all the way back to 1979 with a game called Mud by Richard Bartle and Roy Trubshaw. Now, Mud was basically an effort to take games like Zork and Colossal Cave Adventure, that is, text adventure games, and put them online and allow people to talk to each other and basically exist in the same virtual world. It was a huge hit, you know, for what it was, I guess. And there's all kinds of stories about how the servers would get clogged up with people. You know, these computers were sort of expensive mainframes that were supposed to be there for learning and for research, and instead everybody was playing MUDs. But MUDs continued. They got more and more Dungeons and Dragons-like. There was a lot more emphasis on combat and dragons and all this kind of thing. And there's still hundreds of MUDs out there today that you can download and play for free using some sort of telnet or a special MUD client. You know, of course, there's been lots of enhancements, and it's gotten a lot more complicated, but these are games that can run on just about any system, and they're still quite fun today. Now, in 1991, there was a game called Neverwinter Nights Online. This has nothing to do with BioWare's Neverwinter Nights. This was the SSI people who basically adapted their gold box games, if you're familiar with the Pool of Radiance, which I covered in my very first episode. And they adapted that for an online multiplayer experience. This was available on AOL, and it cost by the hour. So people were raking up huge bills, hundreds if not thousands of dollars per month playing this. Later on, when AOL shifted to a monthly fee instead of an hourly setup, games like this quickly went extinct. However, I'm glad to say that you can still play this in the form of a version called Forgotten Worlds that you can download and play for free on your PC. Now, in 1996, there was a game called Meridian 59, and this was released by 3DO. Now, it's very obvious if you've played it that 3DO was involved, because it strikes, to me at least, it's very uncannily similar to Might and Magic 6, one of my favorite computer role-playing games. It's a 3D game, fluid movement, through 3D virtual space. Let's go to 1997. We get Ultima Online. This is a game, of course, from Richard Garriott, Lord British origin, the Ultima guy. It's a fantastic game. This was a game that really, that historically speaking, really got people excited about the possibilities of an online persistent world. In other words, what would become MMO RPGs. And it's a very complicated game that to me closely resembles Ultima 7, the Black Gate. In 1999, there was another big break with Sony's Everquest. And this is the game that people began calling Evercrack. And I don't know how many millions of people must have gotten into this back in its heyday. Again, like Ultima Online, you can still download and play this with a free trial, even if you want to give it a spin. But anyway, I was noticing how much better I like the interface than Ultima Online. However, it's very complicated. There's all these windows that keep popping up. I was having a hard time moving around. So a pretty steep learning curve, even though this was a mass market game. Okay, so finally we get to 2004 and World of Warcraft comes out and basically blows away Everquest. There's sort of a mass exodus. All the people who were on Everquest joined World of Warcraft. Not all, but a huge percentage. And then World of Warcraft also attracted a huge influx of people who may have never played an MMO before. Indeed, people who may have never played a PC game before. Everybody was talking about this game. It accumulated millions upon millions upon millions of subscribers. So let's see if we can figure out why. All right, so without further ado, let's play World of Warcraft. Now, one thing that's really spectacular about World of Warcraft is just how easy it is to get up and running. We looked at some of those complicated games, EverQuest, Ultima Online. Here we just got a few choices to make: a race, a class. You can randomize your looks. Indeed, probably the hardest thing about this opening pre-game is the choice of name. There's so many players that you're going to have to spend a while finding a name that isn't taken on your server. Now there's basically two factions, Horde, who are more or less the traditional bad guys, and Alliance, who are more or less the traditional good guys. That probably won't make too big a difference to you unless you choose for it to. There are special PvP servers you can go on, and of course there are zones in World of Warcraft for player versus player combat. But most of the gameplay tends to be focused on cooperation. I should also add that another great aspect of this game is the, just how much you can play single player. You could go through this entire game all the way from level 1 to 80 and never be in a group with anybody and still have a good time. That's untrue for a lot of online games that really depend on interaction among the players to make it fun.
Be careful.
The opening quests here are very straightforward, very simple. And another nice aspect of the learning curve is that you only gain skills as your character progresses. So basically, it's pretty well balanced so that as you're becoming more familiar with the game, various options begin to open up and you can specialize your character, start making more meaningful choices. At a certain point, you'll begin to get what are called talent points that you can distribute in different skills. And how you do that really depends on the way you want to play the game, what you want to focus on. If you want to, say, focus on single-player, solo leveling type activities, there's various skills that are helpful for that. If you're in groups, there are other skills for that, and so on, PvP, etc. Now, there's a lot of flexibility in how you want to play the game. If you're anything like me, eventually you'll be meeting other people and trying to get into groups and go into dungeons called instances. They're very tough. There's no way you can do those solo. And then you'll get further specialized into the role you want to play in the groups. If you like to be in charge, then you can try to play as a tank, focusing on the monsters, trying to get them to attack you and not the other players. If you're more of a supportive type, you can play as a healer, making sure the tank stays alive and the party doesn't wipe. Or if you just want to do damage, you can play as a DPS character, damage per second. Those would include things like rogues and mages. But there's a tremendous amount of flexibility. Again, people do things like play as a priest, which is traditionally a healer class, but they'll specialize in damage per second. So it's very flexible, and it's very open to creative approaches.
Not enough.
As you can see here, I've only been playing for a few minutes, and I'm already leveled. The first few levels go really quickly, and eventually you'll start to get little treats. There's always a little nice something or other right around the corner if you just play for a few more minutes. So it's a really wonderful hook. that this game has to keep you playing. Now, I'm already getting close to my time limit for this video, so what I've decided to do is something unusual for Matt Chat. I'm going to make a two-parter episode. So when we come back, I'll have my friend Max with me, and we will take you through some more advanced stages of this game.